giga, minggir. Smartphone RAM 6 giga, Advan G9 Pro aja. RAM 6 giga buat ngegame, Advan G9 Pro aja. RAM 6 giga buat bikin konten, Advan G9 Pro aja. RAM 6 giga buat ini itu, Advan G9 Pro aja. Advan G9 Pro, RAM-nya 6 giga, ada 4 kamera, layar gede, dan baterai besar. Advan G9 Pro aja. Advan G9 Pro, 6 GB RAM for gaming. Advan G9 Pro aja.
Another Laguna Blade comes that arcane room. See you later, VP faded gyro.
Di kawasan hadapan, kawasan yang sama juga telah diganggu oleh pasukan yang lain. Dia juga berada dalam kesulitan ini.
Jangan aku suka e-sport kalau belum bergabung di Unipin Community. Di dalam Unipin Community, kita mengadakan banyak webinar dan workshop berkaitan dengan e-sport yang diisi oleh speaker yang kalian suka dan pastinya bukan kaleng-kaleng. Dijamin ilmu kalian bertambah dan berguna di ranah e-sport. Bahkan, kalau kalian juga berjiwa kompetitif, kita juga mengadakan berbagai macam turnamen yang seru dan so pasti fun. Kalian juga bisa kasih kita saran tentang turnamen apa aja yang kalian ingin kita adain. Yang satu ini cocok banget buat kalian para mahasiswa yang ingin menekuni karir di bidang e-sport. Karena Unipin Community mensupport penuh para mahasiswa di Indonesia dengan membuat USW. Sudah banyak dari berbagai universitas yang telah menjadi bagian USW dari United ini loh. Bakal banyak fun event USW yang bakal menanti kalian pastinya. Jadi tunggu apa lagi? Come and join us di Unipin Community.
hadiah menakjubkan.
Menang, Mak.
Beli ini itu nganggo OVO wae.
Hey, makan ton memanggilmu.
Makan ton. Semua bisa menang. Menang pengurus ton.
Menang harga miliaran. Menang diskonan. Hey, menang hadiah. Menakjubkan.
Bertubi-tubi tiap hari. Menang.
Banyak rekor menang.
Semua pasti menang diskonan.
Menang diskon lagi dan lagi dan lagi. Oh.
Menang hadiah. Batu uang. Menang, Mak. Menang diskon miliaran. Kembali menang.
New skin ready.
Belum 6 giga? Minggir! Smartphone RAM 6 giga? Advan G9 Pro aja! RAM 6 giga buat ngegame? Advan G9 Pro aja! RAM 6 giga buat bikin konten? Advan G9 Pro aja! RAM 6 giga buat ini itu? Advan G9 Pro aja! Advan G9 Pro! RAM-nya 6 giga, ada 4 kamera, layar gede, dan baterai besar. Advan G9 Pro aja! Advan G9 Pro 6 GB RAM for gaming. Advan G9 Pro aja.
The Dime Moon, another Laguna Blade comes that arcane room. See you later, beat defeated Gyro.
Di kawasan hadapan, kawasan samudra terlalu diganggu oleh pasukan yang lain. Kita juga berada dalam permainan ini.
Jangan ngaku suka e-sport kalau belum bergabung di Unipin Community. Di dalam Unipin Community, kita mengadakan banyak webinar dan workshop berkaitan dengan e-sport yang diisi oleh speaker yang kalian suka dan pastinya bukan kaleng-kaleng. Dijamin ilmu kalian bertambah dan berguna di ranah e-sport. Bahkan, kalau kalian juga berjiwa kompetitif, kita juga mengadakan berbagai macam turnamen yang seru dan so pasti fun. Kalian juga bisa kasih kita saran tentang turnamen apa aja yang kalian ingin kita adain. Yang satu ini cocok banget buat kalian para mahasiswa yang ingin menekuni karir di bidang e-sport. Karena Unipin Community mensupport penuh para mahasiswa di Indonesia dengan membuat USW. Sudah banyak dari berbagai universitas yang telah menjadi bagian USW dari United ini loh. Bakal banyak fun event USW yang bakal menanti kalian pastinya. Jadi tunggu apa lagi? Come and join us di Unipin Community.
hadiah mengajukan.
Hello everyone, welcome back in this SEACA or SEACA webinar series day 3, and I'm QSC as your host for today's webinar. So today is gonna be the last day of the event SEACA webinar series and the last day of SEATalk. So before we start the event, we want to thank for all our sponsors. There's European, Ovo, and Grab as our main sponsor. There's also S1 and also Rexus. And this event is supported by European Community, PBSC, One Esport, Bubu.com, Evos Esport, M-Star, RQ Academy, TIC Galaxy Racer, More Team, EGG Network, Royale, and also thanks for our media partner. There is Suara.com, Media Ini, Game Tech, When in Manila, Gigi WP, Kaurin Nusantara, Dunia Games, Game Zero, M-Star, Indo Esport, Indo Gamers, Esport Asia, Upstation, Esport ID, Kincir, Review TV, Game Buff, Pino Gamers, Journal Apps, and One Esport. So before that, we have a special athlete for everyone, all of you in the European Gaming and also in the webinar in Zoom. So SEACA 2021 ini disponsori Ovo dan Grab Indonesia. Jadi jangan lupa buat kalian untuk mampir ke booth virtual kami yaitu Ovo dan Grab pada saat tanggal SEACA Major Grand Final di 19 sampai 21 November 2021. Karena nanti banyak banget promo-promo menarik yang sudah kami sediakan. Penasaran nggak promonya kayak gimana? Langsung aja kalian nanti kunjungi di website unipin.com karena nantinya ada banyak banget diskon. Salah satunya adalah diskon 75% ketika memesan GrabFood dan juga 50% untuk top up menggunakan OVO di website Unipin. So makanya masih banyak lagi promo yang bisa kalian lihat di website virtual SEACA Expo yaitu di seacaexpo.com. Okay, so let's start the event by discussing and listening to our panelists. They are very knowledgeable and experienced through their tenure in esport industry. From that, this SEATalks we also provide a place for those who want to know about gaming and esport industry. And we will present you a very special webinar today with a special topic and also special panelists. We'll discussing about esport future of entertainment. Please most welcome to Hartman Harris for co-founder and Cebu Esports Esport, and also Ong Sawe as head of talent from EGG Network, and the last one is Phillip Sebastian as CMO Royale. We'll present you.
Okay, thank you so much, KYC. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Back again with me, Deborah Emanuela, who will be the moderator in this session. As previously mentioned by our MC, we will be holding SEATalks webinar series number 7 with the theme Esports, the Future of Entertainment. But before that, we will introduce our panelists first. This theme will be attended by international speakers who, of course, have no doubts about their knowledge of esports both in Asia and also globally. So, in the very first panel, we have Hartman Harris, known as Hartman. So Hartman is the Evos co-founder, where in a short span of 5 years, he has built Evos to become the leading esports brand in Southeast Asia with 15 teams across 5 countries and over 10 million fans regionally. Amazing, right? So with over 5 years of experience in finance, also business development, he led the company in securing major sponsorship contracts from global brands such as Visa, Axe, PopMe, and also Lenovo, as well as regional powerhouses such as Gojek, Lazada, and also Tokopedia. And Evos has not only dominated in the tournament scene, but also in their branding. Evos currently have over 14 million followers across their social media channels. Wow, that's big. And largest by far in Southeast Asia. And second globally, just behind the FaZe Clan. So this has led to Evos securing the largest ever esports sponsorship in the region. On the other hand, we also have another panelist who is just great as Hartman. So everyone, please welcome Ong Sawai. Ong Sawai, known as Y, has over 15 years of experience in content production, broadcasting, also talent management, transitioning from entertainment, sports to esports content. Wow. He brought in a wealth of experience producing top-level content and tournaments for both TV and also digital audiences. Among his recent works are MPL Malaysia Singapore, Season 1 to Season 5, the Kuala Lumpur Major, MSC 2019 in Manila, E1 Championship, Jalur 14 docu-series, Mata Kerbau, and Bangkit Web series. He also leads Ag Network's talent business, which work very closely with Facebook Gaming in Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore, Cambodia, Taiwan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and also Bhutan. So let's welcome Mr. Y. And on the last panelist, we have Phillip Sebastian, and known as Phillip. So Phillip Sebastian is the Chief Marketing Officer and one of the co-founders of the biggest gaming community with 200 million followers. That's amazing. And one of the most established marketing agencies in Philippines, Royale. He is usually in charge with big, wide-scale, innovative marketing campaigns, and they do with different game publishers such as Muntun, Riot Games, Tencent, and many more, as well as big mainstream brands such as Clear, Master, 7-Eleven, Nivea, Subway, and many more, while being in charge with the marketing and market growth of Royale for the 300 talents with Facebook Gaming as one of the 2 accredited agencies of Facebook Gaming in the Philippines. Wow, we have 3, all big names. But again, yeah, this topic is very interesting. Esports, the future of entertainment. Currently, gaming industry is already bigger than Hollywood, even bigger than music, and also movie industries combined. But of course, we need to understand that there are esports game and also non-esports game. Some of the esports game genre are like MOBA, FPS, and also Battle Royale. And some of the non-esports game are the single-player games such like Genshin Impact, Candy Crush, and many more. So back to esports. Will esports also gonna be bigger than Hollywood? Do you guys think so? In Southeast Asia itself, based on Yuzu, from 250 million gamers, only around 40.9 million are esports audiences. Will the number increase in the near future? So this session is of course very exciting, and without further ado, I will start the very first question. So the first question is gonna be for all the panelists. Can you guys please explain how esports can be the future of entertainment? So probably Mr. Ong can answer first. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I think for the past few years, we saw a great growth in the region for esports. If you look at the tournaments, the quality of tournaments, the offline events is every organizer is pushing, everybody to up the bar every time there's an offline event. Look at how PMPL Indonesia, the collaboration with Riot. In Malaysia, you have SEACA, K-Click, one of the biggest artists in the entertainment industry, now going into esports as well. So it's been a very exciting 4 or 5 years. From my perspective, as someone in the broadcasting industry, what interests me most is esports kind of disrupted the entire media on how we consume content. You see, the beauty of esports is and gaming is closely related to technology. And technology, it's just imagination, right? And then with the current state of the efforts being put into developing new technology and all those things, one can wonder how we're going to consume content in the future. So it changes the entire way on how we consume content. 10-20 years ago, you only have TV and limited access to the internet, and then you just one screen and that's it, right? And but now look at it, live engagements. With Facebook platforms, you are introducing a lot of things like the drops and things like that. It changes the way how we view content. And back to the days when there's only TV and radio and the mainstream media, is always one way. Now you have a live audience engagement, so it's crazy, right? And with the recent announcement of Mark Zuckerberg on Metaverse, right? You never know how it's going to be in the future. It's going to be VR and AR. In the next 5 years, you will see a lot of people, doing a lot of stuff on VR. And you never know. In esports, maybe 10 years, the entire esports industry will be on a VR platform. So it's really exciting. It's a lot of possibilities, and I'm very excited about it.
Okay, thank you so much, Wai. That's very insightful, and I totally agree with you, especially during the pandemic, right? Like pandemic changes everything, especially how we consume the content itself, like from sports. Like it's so hard going out and then play basketball, but we can play basketball on the console. Even Act Network has one of the biggest sim racing tournament, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, E1.
E1, right? Yeah. So E1 is one of the biggest sim racing tournament in Southeast Asia, and then it's also happened because all the drivers cannot drive outside, right?
Yeah, true. And it's very interesting. So a lot of them they are kind of like grounded. They couldn't go to the track. We have a good mixture of old and also young driver, and young is as young as 13 years old. So it's very interesting to see this, and it's actually a good platform for them to go to get promoted for the young ones to the track as well. So it was a very interesting thing, something that we picked up and produced.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, so Hartman, maybe you can share your own perspective since Evos got the investment, and then I read in lots of articles saying that those investment will be dedicated to entertainment. So that's why maybe you can explain from your own perspective about how esports can be the future of entertainment. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again. Thanks everyone. Thanks Debbie as well. So I don't think it's the future, right? Definitely the future is going to be in me, but I think it's already here as well. So I think if we look at a lot of numbers, it dwarfs a lot of traditional sports, I would say, especially in Indonesia, especially in Southeast Asia as well. So I think we're not really talking about so far into the future. It's actually really now. If we take a look at past recent streaming numbers, some of the, like for example, I think Mobile Legends, MPL, they were at a 1.7 million concurrent viewers, and that broke the record again. Right, and then Free Fire and PUBG Mobile has been breaking records as well. So yeah, I mean it's really here, and we are very bullish, and we're very certain that esports is here to stay. Like you mentioned, especially in Southeast Asia over the past couple of years, because of the COVID situation, I think a lot of sports and other sports disciplines were not able to conduct their regular seasons or the regular leagues, but with esports, actually the numbers went up, right? So what we experienced was that with our streamings and with our social media and stuff like that, it was actually a blessing in disguise, even though we really do miss the offlineness, the offline energy that fans bring to an event. But I think beggars can be choosers, and that's where we're headed. With regards to dedicating everything to entertainment, so it's really more of dedicating everything to our fans. So I think that's the most important thing that we have to align ourselves and align our teams with, and our players and all the managing staff as well. Because the reason why we're here today is also because of our fans, and the reason why we can how we're gonna get to where we want to get is also because of our fans. So with the recent opening of the ITF, the training facility, that is also dedicated to our fans, so that our players and our content creators and our brand ambassadors have a hub, at least in Indonesia or in Jakarta for now, where they can stay and be able to feel at home and collaborate with one another, right? And so to give a better picture for our fans, a different angle, a different, I'll say, side of them that our fans have never seen before.
Okay, thank you so much, Hartman. Yeah, so Evos is really care with their fans, right? So yeah, be grateful if you're Evos fan, because everything will be dedicated to you. Okay, so the third panelist, Phillip. So maybe you can also share your point of view regarding the esports as the future of entertainment. But of course, it is already an entertainment, but how can it's gonna be bigger, especially that Royale is heavily invested in the entertainment as well, right?
Yeah, so for this part, I believe I sent in a video to you guys so that I could probably have the people watching see what is really the future of entertainment inside esports. So maybe you guys can play that too.
In an attempt to slow the spread of COVID,
the government has reimposed strict lockdown measures in Manila and some nearby provinces, forcing public transportation and most businesses to shut down.
Sa pag-evolve ng gaming industry sa mga nakalipas na taon,
So yeah, I think that's mostly it for the video. So I think for this part, as you saw, like the esports industry is already evolving into different types of entertainment. We were able to do a lot of different music videos. We were able to do a lot of Netflix style series videos, documentaries, different type of mainstream content that is slowly being integrated or slowly starting to be utilized by the gaming industry. And this has been one of the biggest mainstream movements inside the entertainment industry of esports and gaming. We are slowly integrating all of these concepts and making gaming bigger and bigger and bigger. Esports is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger with each year that is coming. You would be seeing a lot of different videos, a lot of different content, a lot of different styles of entertainment that would be basically being able to capture the fun vibe, the happy vibe, and being able to bring people together. It would grow the community bigger and bigger and bigger with each month or each day that is becoming esports. It would slowly be the main source of entertainment of people, and it may already is the main source of entertainment inside esports. So I think for this part, in the years to come, you would see every single person watching esports events, watching gaming events, watching gaming entertainment content, and it would be a normal thing. Yeah, that's mostly it.
Okay, thank you so much, Phillip, and what a great video. So yeah, we got the great insight as well that live streaming entertainment is gonna be bigger and even bigger, and it's gonna be contribute a lot to the gaming industry itself. So goes to the next question. It's gonna be the esports culture and also disciplines in Southeast Asia, because we know that Southeast Asia is huge with mobile gaming. Meanwhile, in other region, it's more into PC and also console. So maybe I can ask Miss Y about what's your take on the growth of esports culture and also disciplines in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Over the years, we see a big growth in terms of the mobile games and all those things. So I guess the easier access to game for in this region would be a mobile phone, right? Smartphone penetration is really high in this region, so hence why you see there's more demand in this segment. But overall, regardless of that, I also see that there are still a good portion of the market that actually plays PC games and console games, you can see that there's a lot more people like playing games like Valorant, and also you also see audiences mature. Before this, most of them, they are really just focused on mobile games. If you want to do great in ratings and all, the moment you put up PUBG, when you put up mobile games, Mobile Legends, it's a confirmed hit, right? But slowly you actually see that we have tried with other games as well. Some esports titles, some not so esports title. But you see that audience is actually slowly maturing. They're accepting new content. And it's not just about esports title as well. You see other games making good progress in terms of viewership and all. I think overall with all this and with the right storytelling and all those, I think in the future we'll see more games being played, and it's not just going to be limited to just mobile, console games as well. But it's just that now and the entire focus is still on mobile. But then in the future, I think there will be more games that are going to come into the ecosystem, and we will slowly see other games being developed. And but the main thing is all about the gaming culture, right? Which represent a big part of the market now, because we have a really young target audience. We have a very young target market, and this will only grow. So that's my take on the culture and discipline.
Okay, thank you so much, Why. So if I notice that Act Network also do lots of esports disciplines, not only the mobile gaming, right? So you guys are also exploring other genre as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So for the next panelist to answer is gonna be Hartman. So it's gonna be quite interesting because I think in Indonesia team itself, you don't really have a PC team, right? Like a PC game team for esports, Evos esports in Indonesia. So maybe you can explain the culture and also disciplines in Southeast Asia, and also how you applicate it to your esports team in choosing your team.
So I think previously, when we first started, actually, Evos 5 years ago, we actually started with a PC team, and then unfortunately we had to pivot and then make most of our all of our teams in Indonesia actually mobile focused. That's because of also the rise in mobile esports in a couple years, like the past 3-4 years probably, and the rise has been amazing. I think previously when we first started, having 1,000 people on live viewers will be like super amazing, right? And then now you're looking at like 500,000, a million, or 1.7 million, right? And so I think, but that's, I think gaming itself and esports is social currency. And at the end of the day, I think games as a whole gives context to how people socialize and what they talk about when they do socialize, right? When they meet people. So, taking reference from like, say, Squid Game. So if you don't watch Squid Game, then, when you start hanging out with your friends, or you talk on the phone with your friends or chatting with your friends, then you don't really you feel left out, right? Because like you don't really know what's going on and stuff like that. So it's the same thing is happening in gaming as well. I do believe in that, being able to play and being able to talk about, say, games like Free Fire or Mobile Legends and the likes of like PUBG Mobile as well, gives them social currency to be able to talk and to be able to hang out, right? I think the trajectory for esports is definitely on the rise, but like Wise said, with the rise of mobile esports, especially in Southeast Asia or in Indonesia, it actually trickles down to a lot of PC gaming as well. So, previously PC was sort of like, almost dead, right? But then I think now with people being more aware of esports, what esports is, and being more aware of the other ecosystems like League of Legends, like Fortnite, like Dota and stuff like that, then they are more inclined to try it, right? I think the only obstacle probably right now will be, the cost. The barrier of entry to PC gaming is actually very, very high, especially for countries in Southeast Asia, mainly like, in say like Indonesia or like Vietnam, Myanmar and stuff like that. But otherwise, and also the COVID is a huge obstacle, because then people can't go to the cyber cafes, right? But other than that, I think, after going through the whole pandemic, I think we are in for a very bullish and huge rise in gaming and esports in general, I do believe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Hartman.
Yeah, I just want to add, like,
Sure.
especially with the rise, I think I also mentioned about the metaverse and NFTs, and I do believe that the metaverse is actually a projection or a extension of yourself, and people. So eventually things are going to start merging, and we are going to start, quote unquote, probably living more in the metaverse than we expect, right? And it's coming sooner, and I think there's a discrepancy in what people think it's going to be and what it will be. So for instance, like, people always think like Ready Player One, everything is going to be super realistic and you're going to be super immersed. But if you look at NFTs, actually you can see that people do like 8-bit art, right? Or 16-bit art. So and with Sandbox and with like Roblox and stuff like that, people actually really do enjoy it, even though it's not super realistic, right? I think people can piece together the experience.
Interesting. Yeah, and then lots of NFT gaming right now has amazing features and also graphic as well. One of them such like Titan Arena, Star Atlas as well, right? So yeah, I think it's gonna be sooner than we are going to expect. Thank you so much, Hartman, for the insight. And then for the third panelist, for Phillips, maybe Phillips, you can give us your own point of view regarding the growth of esports culture and also discipline in Southeast Asia.
I think for this part, when it comes to the esports culture, eventually esports culture will become a daily life of every person in Southeast Asia. It will become a lifestyle already. Each person will be integrating gaming and entertainment esports into their daily lives. When they're going home, stuck in traffic, they would be watching different esports events. When they're wanting to bond with friends, they would be playing different games. They would be basically doing it a lot of different things in Southeast Asia to make it like an everyday thing. You would be waking up to gaming. You would be your afternoons will be part of gaming. Your nighttime will be part of gaming. Your everyday part of entertainment will be substituted by gaming and esports. Right now, we're mostly still having a lot of different style of entertainment content, but a lot of people are already integrating that. A lot of people have been watching live streams for 3 hours a day, watching different type of gaming content over on YouTube, different VODs. They would be staying tuned and waiting for their favorite esports event or esports matchup to happen. It's basically transforming our daily lives and substituting our different type of entertainment. It would be substituting our Netflix series, our different noontime shows. It will be basically substituting as well us going outside and playing sports with our friends. Instead of doing those things, we would be asking our friends to play different games with each other, different mobile and online games with each other, and it would be basically a bonding experience, an entertainment experience, and it would just not be part of culture. It would be part of a lifestyle. It would be an everyday life for everyone. So yeah, I think that's mostly it on my end.
Okay, thank you so much, Phillip. Yeah, so we are gonna get used to it. Well, even me, like I'm also a gamer, and I cannot. I think the first time I do when I wake up is checking my game. I think most of the gamers are like that. Okay, so thank you so much. It's very exciting to hearing lots of insights from all of you. And then, of course, like Hartman also mentioned that there's a solid point on the mobile gaming who's actually helping the PC gaming to be on rise again. But if you're talking the innovation, lots of game publisher right now starting to evolve to a mobile gaming. Let's say League of Legends with its Wild Rift, and then soon probably Valorant gonna be on mobile, and then even PUBG Mobile was started from PUBG itself, right? So Hartman, what do you think about this kind of evolution?
Yeah, I think we can see it, like you mentioned. Yeah, I think we can see it even more and more these days. A lot of games are actually being released on PC, on Switch, on PS, on Xbox, and what have you, right? I think it's only a matter of time when cross-platform games become more readily available. Of course, I think I think there was a game called sorry, I forgot the name of the game, but then it had a huge hype, but then sadly I think it fell short of the release, right? Because you are able to actually play with your friends on mobile and then with your friends on PCs and Xbox and all that stuff. I think with the advent of 5G, it's only a matter of time, and eventually probably like 6G as well. It's only a matter of time when a lot of the computing is done on the cloud versus on your mobile phones or your CPUs, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited on what is going to come for the new wave of esports, right? The type of esports. So now we're still sort of stuck with the traditional esports, which is either MOBA or FPS or Battle Royale. But I think with more and more people joining and with more innovation from the game developers themselves, I think in the next 1 or 2 years, we will definitely see a very different but very exciting form of esports as well.
Okay, so very diverse game, right? So it's not gonna be limited to MOBA, FPS, or only Battle Royale, because I think in other region there are lots of esports discipline that is quite interesting. One of them is like Brawl Stars. Are you guys familiar with that? Yeah, like Brawl Stars. Yeah. I was pretty shocked knowing that it was quite huge in Europe. I was like, wow. Okay, so yeah, probably in Southeast Asia we can see different disciplines as well, like what Y have been doing right now with Act Network. Okay, goes to the next question. So what causes it, and how large is the scale of esports as entertainment? Okay, so after we heard about the esports culture and also discipline, how large is the scale of esports itself as the entertainment? So maybe we can start again from Y first.
I think like what I said, how big can it be? I think there's endless possibility, right? Again, it's closely related to technology, and you're gonna change the experience. It's all about, you know, what's gonna come after this. So like what Hartman said about social currency thing, I think it's really interesting. It's about, you know, picking the right trend and going into it, and create something out of it, to the ability to spot it and all those things. And how big can it be? I mean, even at this stage, if you ask me, to some, when you look at it, it's like, hey, esports is, you know, for the past 4 or 5 years, you see a big growth, and they're really, some of them is like, they're even happy with it. But to me, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many things that we can do with this, and with reference from traditional sports, right? This whole thing, in fact, is already a pop culture. You will see more things. There's more collab. There's movies. There's TV series, like what Phillip said. So there's no limit to how big this is going to be. But it just the storytellers, those people that work behind the scene, need to spot it quick and try to catch up with the whole trend, right? That's how I see it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so goes to Phillip. Well, talking about Rumble Royale, right? I mean, Rumble Royale is huge in entertainment as well, and then Rumble Royale can also like choose to become something else other than entertainment for esports, but you guys choose to be heavily invested on entertainment side. So what do you think about the how large is the scale of esports as an entertainment itself?
I very much agree with Y on that part, and I do believe the possibilities are endless and limitless. It's basically up to what you can imagine esports could be, or what can any passionate individual about gaming can imagine esports could be. Because gaming is digital, gaming is a revolution, gaming is online, gaming can be anything it could be. It's unlike sports wherein you cannot transform basketball, you cannot transform any of the old sports. But gaming can transform, can evolve into different states, into different functions, into different possibilities. It can evolve to AR and VR, like what Y also discussed a while ago. It can evolve into NFTs. You can play to earn. You can basically make it your living, like Hartman discussed a while ago. And it can be also like a lifestyle for everyone. It can be something that you would be watching to entertain yourself, a TV series, a Netflix series. It can also become music. A lot of people are listening to music that was created for games now, for marketing for games. There's a lot of different transitions to it that you can basically integrate it into anything about your life, anything with regards to not just entertainment. It won't only limit you to culture, it won't only limit you to lifestyle. It could be anything, literally what the imagination of any passionate gamer can make it to be. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Yeah. That's very, very true, Phillip. Like, we can all see that right now. For example, Riot Games, with its Wild Rift, they created music, right?
Yeah.
They created their own band, KDA.
Yeah, KDA
Yes.
is one of the biggest music groups right now, and they continuously create those different types of things. And they even have a Netflix series now, Arcane. So gaming is evolving and evolving up to the limits of our imagination. So that I think that's something great about gaming. It can be anything that we want it to be.
And on the other way around, Netflix was starting to creating its own game.
Yeah. It's totally amazing. It's totally amazing. The growth of gaming is just breathtaking. It's literally limitless.
Okay. Awesome, limitless. So the audiences are hearing your opinion about this, and then I think it's gonna be great for everyone who wants to jump in the gaming industry or esports industry, because the opportunity is limitless. And for the next question, what's your take on the pattern and culture of esports in Southeast Asia as an entertainment? What do they need? So how does people start if they want to start doing esports as an entertainment in Southeast Asia? Maybe Y can start first.
Okay. So you mean how what they should do if they want to start doing content? I think for me, someone from broadcasting content production background, the main thing is about storytelling. You need to have a good story to tell, to have a good script, and you spice it up with good visuals, effects, and all those. But the key thing now is, how do you define a good story? So you always start off with what kind of emotion that you want to get out from the content. So like if you look at the culture and the pattern of esports in Southeast Asia now, a lot of things that have been put into the storytelling is a lot about competition, sportsmanship, right? The passion, the commitment, how you want to become the best. And with all this local scene and all those things, you see that there are local heroes being made. You're creating a sense of patriotism among the fans, and before this, you actually see a lot of not so good things. A lot of years ago, I think everybody know about the sea server and the toxicity, right? There's a lot of people who talk about how toxic we are and all those things. But you see how we mature. When we have a strong local team and there's good content being made about it, right? You create a hero. Now it's no longer about just a gameplay, right? It's a feeling of pride, someone representing the country. And even though there's a fierce rivalry between countries and all those things, I mean, in the recent content that we have done, community tournaments and all those things that we do, Southeast Asia tournament, regional base, you can actually see tolerance. It's no longer how it used to be, toxicity. There are words being said, but then there are people defending their acknowledgement of skills from the other team, from another country. So I would say in this whole thing, the storyteller plays a big role on how you want to get out of the content, and it will help shape the future culture, right? It's the narrative that you put into every piece of entertainment content that you're going out. That's my take on this.
Okay, thank you so much, Y. Okay, you're talking about the fan base, so I'm going to ask Hartman about that. So Hartman, Evos is one of the esports team who has a huge fan base, and every time Evos play, the viewership increase. So if you were talking earlier about the MPL, right, who just hit the new numbers, which is 2.7 if I'm not mistaken, and then of course it's thanks to the fan base who's contribute to the viewership as well. So regarding the culture as well, so what is your perspective about that as an entertainment? Like how does like esports team can have a great fan base who can later on support themselves for entertainment side?
Yeah. Good question. I think we're still figuring out that part out as well. But I think from what we've seen is that the evolution of the types of content that are liked by people has been changing, been maturing, or rather, right? So when we first started, like maybe 5 years ago, or even 5 years ago, I think a lot of people were really into the gameplay, right? So they look at content and YouTube as a way to be able to improve their games. So like tutorials, like talking about the games and stuff like that. And then after that, it's really more about what the types of the actual tournament gameplays, right? And then from there, they start to realize that, okay, Mr. XYZ is a certain person and they really idolize Mr. XYZ, and then they want to get to know him a little bit better, right? And then they start to want to get to know him a little bit better off camera as well. So the person behind the mask, who is he? What's his real name? What's his background like, and things like that. And then and fast forward now, I think, you know, it's an array of different types of content, and one of them also is esports, what we call as esports plus content, which is anything surrounding the esports and esports people, right? So for instance, like a talk show like this, right? A seminar or a webinar like this, or a sort of like a late night show kind of concept, or a variety show sort of concept, or a comedy sort of concept, but then surrounding themselves with the context, with the base or foundation of gaming and or esports, right? So I think with any passion point, there's definitely room to grow. I think that's what a lot of people outside of esports tend to miss, is that they tend to group esports fans as one uniform type of person, right? But the fact is that, you know, there are esports fans who are in different parts of the world, in different parts of the country, vastly different SES demographics, different ages, different age groups, different interests, and things like that, with one singular interest, which is one singular common interest, which is esports, right? And then so that actually gives us a lot of room to play with, and a lot of interests that we can go into.
Okay, thank you so much, Hartman. So for a conclusion, I think it is very important for an esports team to become the champion first, right, Hartman? Otherwise, who's gonna follow them? Is that right? Is that important?
I think yes and no. I think definitely it's nice to be champions as well. But of course, I think where we started 5 years ago was that, okay, we are, you know, let's forget about esports teams, let's forget about everything, and just go back to our roots, which is we are just basically storytellers, right? And so we always ask ourselves, what kind of journey do we want to bring our fans on? And we always make it a point to ourselves, whether we win or we lose, we always announce, we always take the fans for a journey, right? So I mean, you know, taking that as an example, certain soccer teams are, you know, they don't win a whole lot, but they have super hardcore fans as well, right? So it really depends on what story you're telling and what journey you're bringing your fans on.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so back again to what I said too, right? Like the storytelling, how you explain yourself, how you bring the story, your own story to your fans. It is the one that will be very, very important. Okay, so Phillips, what is your own opinion about the pattern and culture of the esports in the Southeast Asia, and as an entertainment, what do they need?
So basically, I believe there would be three things that would be needed on this part. First is training and education. Next is basically building the culture. Next would be the third and last one would be on the it would be on the side of igniting the passion of different individuals. So I do agree with why on the part of we're just on the tip of the iceberg. We're just basically just starting off, and basically we need to build these things. We need to be able to portray and lead the people that would be coming into the future, all of these thousands and millions of people that would be starting to migrate to make esports and gaming as their form of entertainment. We need to be able to educate and train them, because this is not easy. Most people have like a misconception that being an esports player is easy, being a live streamer is easy, being a content creator is easy, starting their own gaming company is easy. It's not. It's basically something that we are all passionate about. That's why we are able to do all of these things. A lot of people have this misconception that if I play games like on every day, I would be able to become like an esports player. It's not that easy. There's a lot of different training methods, disciplines, and a lot of different struggles that these people undergo into. And there's a lot of time investment on this that would be basically be utilizing each young person. So they would need to know how to achieve that. They would need to be trained. They would need to be able to be educated. That there's a lot of things that you need to do to be able to be great inside the gaming industry. Next one is building culture. When it comes to building the culture, we need to be able to build a culture wherein it won't be a toxic environment. It won't be an gamers are very competitive. They tend to really fight against each other. They really tend to go against each other on this part. We need to build an environment where the gamers will be working together into a common goal for the whole entire gaming industry to win inside the entertainment industry, to win inside the being a big part of a global trend. So I think for this part, building that culture and being able to establish that gaming is really something that would improve people's lives, that would improve and basically make everything a lot better for a lot of these different young generations that would be coming in. And then lastly, when it comes to igniting the passion, there's a lot of people dreaming, wanting to become an esports player, a pro player, a content creator, a live streamer, or wanting to go inside the gaming industry. But when it comes to that side, we need to always make them to never forget that passion would be basically their driving force to make their dreams come true. They would go through a lot of different struggles, they would go through a lot of different problems, but they cannot give up. If gaming is truly one of their main aspirations and dreams in life, they need to keep on going and they need to not give up. They would have all of these idols, they would have all of these people that they look up to. Those people went through a lot of different hard times, especially for the past 4 to 5 years. The people that build the pillars of gaming right now in each region, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in the Philippines, and all over the place, these people that built this for 4 to 5 years started off in a really struggling phase, because 4 to 5 years ago, gaming wasn't really recognized as something that could be like a major business industry or can be realized as a major entertainment industry. But we are all here. We are able to build different gaming companies, there are different big content creators, there are different big live streamers and different big pro players right now, and we should be a model to all of these young generations that is looking up to us, and we ignite those passion within them so that the gaming community and the gaming industry and esports industry would continue to strive. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Phillip. That's very inspiring. Yes, it is not easy, right? So you need to take what it is, like you need to do whatever it takes in order to be successful in this industry as well. So earlier I already mentioned that the esports audiences in Southeast Asia currently is around 40.9 million audiences, and it is quite big, but compared to the gaming industry itself, it is still a little bit fell behind, right? But today we have three important people in the esports industries who has a different background as well. So I'm going to ask each one of you based on what you're currently doing right now about the potential of earnings from esports as in entertainment. So maybe why you can explain about the potential of earnings based from the broadcasting company?
Yeah. In terms of growth, where we are now for the esports industry, I would think that we are still at the beginning stage of growth. So there's still a lot room more for us to grow. And again, records are being broken every year for viewership. So in my business, broadcasting is all about viewership, right? The more eyeballs that you have, the more sponsorship or distribution rights income that you can generate. And how do I see the potential earnings and all those things? Like I said, we are only at a very early of the growth stage, right? Because why? Our target market is young. They're really young, right? From the age of 13, maybe up to 23, 25, and we are basically the future of the market. And you will be attracting not just endemic brands coming in, non-endemic brands will be pretty interested as well. I always like to use the case study of how Mercedes going into ESL, right? We all know that the younger kids, they all prefer BMW due to what they did a lot of years ago. The branding and all those things, it's cool to have a BM. But how Mercedes see that as a threat is like, how can I earn the trust of these young kids again? Going into esports. Now you're seeing a heroes, getting a car, a Mercedes, being the MVP. Now it's cool to have a Mercedes now. This whole brand perception things, and when with the industry now, with us holding a big potential target market, the kids, the young adults. I think with the rising of the viewership and all those things, in my discipline, in broadcasting, we'll see a big growth. There will just be more and more brands pouring investment into the ecosystem, and yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, because the esports audiences are mostly young generations, right? The Gen Z. Yeah, so the Gen Z, if we are talking about brands, what they want is, of course, the revenue. And then by revenue, it means that the audiences need to have a buying power, right, Mr. Y? Okay, so earlier when I mentioned about Hartman, I noticed that Evos has lots of brands to tap into your esports team. And then talking about the audiences as well, esports audiences are pretty young, the Gen Z, right? So I believe that those brands understand that. So do you think that the brands only looking for awareness at this point of time? Or maybe you can also explain the earning potential for an esports team. Hartman, you can help answer that question.
Sure. I mean, like we mentioned, I think 5 years ago when we started, definitely a lot of endemic brands, and then now you see a lot of different kinds of brands and companies actually looking to work with us. We recently launched the Mandiri ATM card, debit card, as well. So that was really, really exciting and really interesting. So I think a lot of brands, so 70% of our demographic is actually aged between the ages of 18 and 25. So those people are actually right at the right age for a lot of our I'll say sponsor products, right? And part of the reason why I would think brands and the value and where the value is actually because having brand affinity actually takes time. And when a brand decides to invest in an ecosystem, I think it they will reap the rewards, maybe not as fast as a lot of other channels, maybe, and that's a huge maybe, but definitely they will reap the rewards down the road. So in Evos ourselves, we do a lot of research, we do a lot of surveys as well for our demographic in terms of, say, brand health, brand check, and tracking all the brands performances, right, throughout our whole entire year of working together. And what we found was that over the course of, say, 6 months, 8 months, where one of our brands was actually 0 to 1% or 3% in the top of mind category, after 6 months it became 20 to 30%, right? So that's a huge 5x, and that's what we're aiming to do. And because millennials and Gen Zs, they're and the youth basically nowadays, we are very emotionally attached to something, and usually price and price becomes secondary, right? So what they see is that if a certain brand were to support their favorite team or favorite quote unquote hobby or interest, then they would feel a sense of attachment to that brand, and lo and behold, after 6 months and 1 year, after doing a lot of campaign, a lot of soft selling, a lot of soft selling campaigns to showcase actually what the brand stands for and what Evos stands for and what values we can bring to the fans, then a lot of great partnerships can be had, and that's when the magic happens, I think.
Okay, so now it's about the investment first. Later on, they will reap the benefits on investing in the esports. That's actually a very solid answer. So, Phillip, in your opinion, maybe you can share your earning potential as well in your company.
Yeah, and I agree with Y as well on this one, that that's just basically the beginning of a bigger business industry on this part. A lot of big mainstream brands, a lot of different big brands will be basically coming into the scene eventually in the next year to 3 years on this side, because they are basically recognizing already that gaming and esports is basically what is the entertainment towards the young community, which is a majority of the population of different countries in Southeast Asia. Around the ages from 13 to 25 years old is like the majority of the ages in Southeast Asia right now, and that is a really big market share. That's a really big market control on that part. There's a lot of different products that are dedicated for that segment, and there's a lot of different brands that would be wanting to capture that segment. And the best way to capture those segments right now is towards the esports and entertainment industry, investing towards different esports tournament, different content creators, YouTubers, Facebook live streamers. These different people can already earn a lot of different big income, not just from brands, but even from the platforms itself. A lot of different platforms such as YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook are already looking for a lot of different content creators that they could basically monetize and put different advertisements into, and a lot of different people can earn through that. You can basically have multiple of ways to be able to earn inside the business industry of gaming, and there's a lot of different ways as well that it would further expand. There is already a play to earn model from different games, from NFTs, that people are really happy about. That is why Axie Infinity had a big rise when it comes to NFT games, because a lot of people are able to earn from playing games. So it's not just from big companies and big industries that people can basically have a living to be able to have a big potential income from. The industry is growing and expanding into a really fast state that eventually it would be one of the major business entities or major business industries in every country in Southeast Asia, similar to how Korea has it, similar to how China has it. Their gaming industry is quite huge over there. Their business models and the different earning factors of gaming is really big over there. And I do believe the Southeast Asia countries are already catching up in a really fast pace. and a lot of different big gaming companies are being enabled to use that industry and be able to be the forefront of that industry and become leaders of that industry, similar to how we have Y and Hartman here, which are big leaders inside their own countries. This industry would continue to grow and would continue to expand even further, and there's a lot of potential, especially when it comes to revenue on the side of making it a business. Yep.
Okay, thank you so much, Phillips. Yes, totally agree with Phillips. Okay, so earlier, Phillips talked and explained about different elements in esports as an entertainment, like music and then movie, even different collaborations, like what Evos has been doing with Visa, Bank Mandiri. But what can the Southeast Asia improve in terms of esports as an entertainment? So maybe Y can help to answer this first. Thank you. What can we improve in Southeast Asia to make it even bigger and bigger and bigger?
I guess an open mind.
Open mind.
We already see that there's a big collapse between brands from mainstream industry, from music and everything. But for me, I think that it's not done enough. There should be more of this. One of the main thing, I guess, to further grow this industry also is to move the entire thing to mainstream media, finding the right story to tell, and then doing a big collab out of it, right? Like what Phillip said, you can do movies. There will be TV series. There will be docu series. It's just that how we're going to tell the story, right? But to me, I guess an open mind to look at, how we can collab with other discipline in the media. Like, I think the easiest would be like music, right? You will start seeing like KDA and all the mainstream artists going into gaming as well. Because to me, I will look at this as like I said, pop culture, right? And the gaming culture. The way I look at it, the whole entire gaming ecosystem it doesn't just stop at esports, right? There's the game IP owners, and then there are the subculture of esports as well. There's cosplaying part of it, right? Can we do the next best Southeast Asia cosplayer? Something like the American Top Model. It again is to keep an open mind and look for the next thing outside the box on how we can actually further push this entertainment industry. And one of the reasons why I'm actually really excited to go into esports and gaming industry is, judging from my previous background as an entertainment producer and director, I actually see esports and gaming as a new genre. You can create so many things out of it by putting more entertainment values into it, and you're creating new stuff. So that's my take on this.
Okay, open mind. Yeah, that's what most of the Asians need to have, right? Like the stigma of game, I think it's already changing. Before, everyone say that gamers are lazy people, but now look at this industry. It's no longer for the lazy people. Yeah, right? So how about you, Hartman? What do we need to have? What do we need to improve?
I think we are already improving as time goes by, right? I think it's only a matter of time. So I think talent is still in the human resources is still a little bit lacking, probably, because I think it's only a matter of time till we attract a lot of top people. So I think when we first started, the industry hasn't had that many amazing people as they do now, and it's growing as well. And I think moving forward, being able to attract different people from different disciplines would definitely prop up the whole entire industry, because I think a lot of the times in esports we don't we can't really copy what has been done in other industries or even other sports, right? So we do emulate some of them, and we do sort of take inspiration from some of them. But at the end of the day, I think we really do need to create something really, really original and really, really esports like for our industry, because the whole industry is vastly different from a lot of other industries.
Okay, when you were talking about talents, do you mean it's the man behind the gun? You mean the brain, like those people who's actually running the industry itself?
Yeah. I think so you can see from the past couple of years, right? You can see production value going up, mainly because you have top-notch producers coming over, top-notch TV stations. They are actually looking at esports and stuff like that. And then when that happens, then you attract more and more, and then more brands, and then it's just a cycle. The flywheel that actually moves the whole entire industry. And then you have better writers, better producers, better influencers coming over, celebrities, and then better business people, biz dev people, better everything. And I'm very certain and very optimistic in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a whole different, much higher standard and much different world than it is today.
Awesome. Yeah, that's why change from sports to esports, right? Why? Okay, how about you, Phillips? What do you think that we need?
Yeah, so I think for this part, we would be needing two things. One is training and guidance. Next is unity and collaboration. Training and guidance, because there's a lot of different people wanting to be an esports player, wanting to be a live streamer, wanting to be a content creator, wanting to be part of the esports industry, wanting to do their own esports tournament or different types of content side of esports. But that is not a known knowledge. There a lot of people are basically shooting in the dark when it comes to this part, because there is no set guidelines for these kinds of things. There is no a manual, a book for these kinds of things. A lot of people are basically shooting in the dark when it comes to doing this, and they are doing it on a trial and error process. There's a lot of different things that we can train these different people for. I do believe EGG has a lot of different training programs for their content creators and a lot of their different talents, as well as Evos has a lot of different training programs for their esports players on that part. We need to further expand these types of things, and let it be enable it to be available to the mass audience, so that a lot of people that is trying to dream and trying to have like a passion when it comes to gaming and esports, we need to be able to enable those people and give them like a guideline, train them when it comes to these kinds of things, so that we can further expand the number of great people inside this industry. There's a lot of different passionate individuals there and smart individuals out there that doesn't know how to make it into gaming, and they're afraid of it. So that enabling these types of people can help grow the industry even further. The next one would most likely be unity and collaboration. When it comes to different countries in Southeast Asia, we all have different ways and different strategies to develop the gaming industry in each of those countries. We have different business models. We have different types of entertainment forms that I think we need to also put together in order to create like something bigger, in a sense wherein the whole Southeast Asia can benefit from each other. We have different strategies, different business models, business industries, and this different big companies out there that has made it successful inside the industry. I think more than just making the country successful when it comes to esports, making Southeast Asia successful when it comes to esports, and finding out the different ways on how to further improve live streaming and gaming and entertainment across Southeast Asia, further improve the quality of esports players and esports teams in Southeast Asia, further improve the building of different esports tournaments in Southeast Asia. I think rather than make it a competition, how about we it's been something really a dream in mind that all of these countries collaborating with each other, building a wide and bigger gaming community. I think that is one of the main dreams of Rumble Royale, to build one of the biggest gaming communities in Southeast Asia. And when it comes to that part, a gaming community needs a lot of different aspects to become like an ecosystem wherein it would be a lot bigger, it would help a lot of different people, and it would help not just one country, but across Southeast Asia on that part. So yeah, I think that's mostly my thoughts on that part.
Okay, thank you so much, Phillip. Yeah, earlier we talked a lot about sports. So, based on the research I did, currently people are already spend more time watching game streamers rather than watching sports. So, what do you guys think about your take on esports as a sport? And how do you compare it to traditional sports? And we are lucky because we have Y here, who changed from broadcasting sports to esports. So why you can share your knowledge about this?
Yeah. To me, I think the core value and the basic narrative is the same, right? We push about sportsmanship, rivalry, competition. That is and passion and commitment. Those are the few core values that you share in sports. To me, it's almost the same. But sports is a bit hard for me to actually compare, because I think both is unique in their own way. It's just that esports is faster. The pace is faster, and the trend changes really fast. It's just like in a game of football and soccer, the format is there, right? You can't do much to it. Maybe in a game of badminton, you can change a bit of the scoring and the point system, but in esports, it's different. There's so many different game IP owners. There's so many possibility of a new esports title and all those things. So I would say it's more exciting in the esports space because you get to see a lot of different things coming through. But if you ask me, is there any big difference? I would just say the pace and the trend. But the main narrative, the main core values is the same.
Okay, interesting. But sports is healthy, right? How about esports?
I think it depends on how you see it. I mean, for me, any overindulgence in anything, it means no good, right? If you only eat certain type of food or you do certain sports and every day for like 6 hours, I think it depends how you see it. The way I look at esports is way different because there's not much people that pay attention to the skills that is involved. Like, the ability to process data when you're playing a game of MOBA, the teamwork, the communication, the mechanical skill. So, to me, playing a game of 1 hour or 30 minutes of Mobile Legends or PUBG, sometimes it's just as tiring as running in a car, right? So that's how I see it. I mean, there's always good and bad to
Okay. Thank you so much, Wai. Maybe Hartman can confirm on that. And it is very interesting that Evos is having a basketball team, right? Everyone is safe from esports to sports. Everyone do basketball team first, and then they create the esports team. What do you think? Can you share us your thought about this, and what is the background from your decision to create the basketball team?
Yeah, so I think going off what Y said, right? How it's as tiring playing games as it is if an intense esports game is as probably mentally draining as well if you're talking about traditional sports, right? I think that's very true. And then even in the physical side, I think it's very, very draining as well. When we are at the playoffs or the finals, we can usually see from the body language of our players or the opponent's body language, right? When they stop communicating, when they're slouching, when they're just leaning back and stuff like that, versus someone who is, they're sitting upright, they're communicating well, they're having a good time, right? Those are the ones that usually win and take it on, right? Because again, when a lot of people actually forget that it takes a lot of physical strength. Of course, not to the level of like say the NFL or the NBA and stuff like that, but you do need to have a strong physical body to be able to play and to be able to concentrate and focus on the strategy and your mechanics for 5 hours, 6 hours a day when you are in the playoffs, right? So that's what we train for. And so I do agree with what he said as well. Everything has to be balanced, right? And research has shown that generally kids nowadays are pretty active. So active meaning actively playing sports outside and also actively playing games as well. So it's not an either or, and I think it's very healthy to do both. So when what they found was that when kids play sports, it's usually a neighborhood or a close vicinity type of friends thing, right? Schools and stuff like that. And then when you start to go online and then you start making friends across the region, across the globe. And I think that is very, very important because I think we're in a new age where, with globalization and the internet, I think it's very easy to be able to make friends all across and stuff, right? Yeah, so I think that's where some of the safety issues may come in. But again, on the flip side, a lot of kids start to learn English, a lot of kids start to be able to speak and really, really show interest in a lot of variety of stuff and really be able to learn a lot of different cultures, right? So I think that is very helpful for the culture moving forward. Why Evos is actually entering basketball, traditional basketball, is because I think Evos is slowly moving more and more so to become a brand, a hopefully a regional and global brand eventually. And what we aim to achieve is actually catering to the youth, right? And that's what matters most to us. And we feel that basketball in Indonesia at this point is a good entry point for Evos to be able to manifest or to be able to show what can be done in traditional sports, right? So that's part of the reason why it's a little bit different, because traditionally then it would be from basketball over to esports. But then here, I think we want to show and we want to have some innovations in the basketball world that we hope to bring a different outlook, a different point of view from the esports side over to the basketball side.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much, Hartman, for the insight. So next to Phillips, what do you think about this? What do you think about esports and sports?
Yeah, of course, for this sport, I think esports is basically an evolution of sports. Instead of comparing the two, I believe esports should be part of sports. Since to me, esports is a mental sport on this side. If chess could be a sport, why not mobile games? Why not PC games on that side? This is basically something that is already evolving sports on this part. We're making a lot of different ways into developing and evolving technology, wherein this technology has already caught up to sports. It is already making sports into a technological evolution. I think for that part, esports is that technological evolution of sports. When it comes to this side, there's already games such as basketball that is basically becoming a game. There is soccer that's becoming a game. There is a lot of different games already that is already being integrated towards esports. So I think for this side, it shouldn't be something that can be compared to sports. I do believe right now esports is already part of the sports industry or sports genre on that side. It's already a major part of it, and it's already soon would be something that would be widely accepted. There is already a Southeast Asia Olympic style competition for esports. There's a lot of those different types of things already happening right now. That slowly esport is slowly becoming a one thing that is being socially accepted, that esports is already a sport. Basically, it's something that people could use to exercise their minds, to further expand their knowledge, to further expand their reflexes, to further expand their different mechanics, not just when it comes to the game, but also to life. You can calculate a lot of different things a lot faster when it comes to gaming, and you can calculate a lot of those things when it comes to esports. You need to have like a a high decision making inside gaming. There's a lot of different hard decisions when it comes to playing games. You can imply that in life also. When it comes to esports, one of the main aspects of a pro player is reducing the risks of the things they would be doing in order to come up on top when it comes to playing games and to win. Eliminating those risks can also be applied in both life and sports on that side. So I think on that end, really, esports is just basically a technological revolution of sports and should not be compared to sports, but rather be integrated towards sports.
Okay, thank you so much, Phillip. So, yeah, esports is going to be part of sports because next year we are going to have Asian Games, right? And then there will be SEA Games as well. And esports is already part of it, so it's going to be very exciting, of course. So actually I still have a few more questions, but there are a couple of questions from the audience. I think I'm going to read the question from the audience first because the time is ticking and this is Sunday. I don't want to steal your time from the family as well. So I'm going to read the question from the audience. It's going to be for Mr. Hartman and Mr. Phillip. My name is Dwi. I want to ask, how big is the potential of esports industry as entertainment compared to other digital industries in the future? Thank you. So Hartman, maybe you can help answering this question first, and then next to Phillip.
Yeah. So I think like you mentioned, there's about 40 million people across the region that is into esports, and so the potential I think is very, very big, because again, like I mentioned, that they have vastly different interests, right? So you're just tapping onto one interest of theirs, one passion point of theirs, and being able to deliver on all their passion points and being able to deliver and tap on to what their other interests are. So I think it's very big. I think it's ripe for a lot of innovation and change. And, I think that in the next 1 to 3 years will be pretty amazing.
How about to compare to other digital industry? Maybe what she meant was like, for example, e-commerce, or maybe other industry, maybe.
I'm not sure how to compare that. I think it's a little bit different, but in terms of like medias, you can see that with millions and millions of people watching live, that in itself is a huge platform. With millions and millions of people following the athletes, the teams, and all that stuff, that in itself is also a platform. So a lot of esports teams actually got to where it is now in a matter of years, right? Versus in terms of, say, social media following, teams like the traditional soccer teams would, they've taken like 50 years, 100 years, right? So I think the passion is there, and I think when it starts to evolve more and more, and it becomes more and more, even more so engaging and more interactive than it already is, it will be a much bigger platform than it is now.
Okay, thank you so much, Hartman. So Phillips, gonna help to answer the question?
Yeah, of course. I think for that part, when it comes to this side, comparing it to other industries like celebrity industries, there's a lot of different content creators, a lot of YouTubers, there's a lot of different big pro players out there that are even more popular right now than big celebrities inside each country. There are a lot of different content creators, YouTubers, and pro players that have more following, have more engagement, has more different of a solid fan base on that side, and has more even brand deals on that end. So it slowly keep on evolving and evolving. There's a lot. One of the biggest YouTubers is PewDiePie, and he's a gamer on that side. So when it comes to that part, eventually gaming would be something really, really big on that part, wherein not even celebrities inside different countries can keep up to par when it comes to this popularity of these pro players. Faker in Korea is a lot more popular compared to some other big Korean groups, or even other big Korean actors and actresses on that part. So when it comes to that, and comparing it, there's a possible comparison. That's very true. But esports can also stand alone in general on that part. Esports can be that form of entertainment that a lot of people could look up to. So to the person that asked that question, you could probably have your own stand, your own popularity, your own fan base, your own dedicated huge amount of people wanting to look up to you, and you could potentially be one of the biggest people inside gaming in the future.
Okay, thank you so much, Phillip. So again, the opportunity is of course limitless. So you gotta try first to jump into this industry and see how big it's gonna be in the future. Okay, so for the last question, it's about streaming agency. So I think Hartman can also help to answer this because you own a streaming agency, and also Phillips, right? You have the streaming agency. Okay, so it is in Indonesia, but I'm going to help to translate this question. So as a newcomer in esports industry or gaming industry, the first time when we create a streaming agency and recruited talent from the very beginner, so let's say it's kind of like an incubator. We find someone who's we think that is going to be great, and then we recruited them. But then after they become popular, they're going to leave the agency that's already nurtured them from zero. So is it always going to be like that? Is it the pattern? And how to change that? How to keep them to stay loyal to the agency? Maybe Hartman can help answer that first.
Sure. To be honest, I think we're still figuring out for ourselves as well. But what we found is that these types of businesses are definitely a very human to human and requires a lot of human touch as well. So being personal with them, talking to them, and really reaching on a personal level to them really helps a lot. And on the flip side, that's something that we really have to work on, is actually delivering more and more value to them, right? So I think it's human nature, and I think we shouldn't, if we are not able to give them more and more value, we shouldn't be thinking of trying to keep them as well, right? We should be thinking of how we as a company, we as an agency, perhaps be always looking to grow the company, and what other avenues can we do, what other channels can we open up, other doors that we can open up, such that we can bring more value for our talents or our streamers, right? So in that way, they will always want more and more, and not leave because of simple things like, say, salaries or how much they're getting and stuff like that. So I think that's the most important part, because if we have the fear of a talent leaving, then maybe that means also that we are not delivering enough value to them, such that they would immediately stay by themselves.
Okay, that's a very, very fair answer. And it's also a solid answer. So yeah, we need to treat them with respect and give them the value that they want as well. Okay, so for Phillips, maybe you have your own opinion on this.
I totally agree with Hartman on that part when it comes to having that personal approach. So in Royale, we usually do provide two different things. One is the business side, one is the personal side. So when it comes to business side, we would always be needing to provide a lot of different opportunities for our streamers and content creators in that part. We need to be able to give them a lot of different brand deals, a lot of different additional revenue, a lot of different monetization tools for them to further expand and to create more content on that part and to be able to have a living as well on that end. And at the same time, provide them with a lot of different marketing value, have them be part of different events, have them be part of different entertainment segments such as the TV series that we do for Mobile Legends, the different music videos that we do, different events that we do, show matches, esports tournaments, and a lot of different things that would provide these people a lot more enjoyment. They need to be able to enjoy and to have fun and to be able to basically have this as realize this as a dream for them, to make this more of not just work. We need to make them feel that they are happy doing these things every single day, for them not to feel that it's work. If you're happy doing something every day, you'd basically be inspired to wake up and keep on doing and doing and doing and doing more content. And then on the other spectrum, personal, we usually build our talents as being part of the Royale family. It's something that is a common trait that we usually tell and really have our talents realize that you're not just part of an agency, you're not just part of a group, you're not under a company, you're part of the Royale family. We're here to basically support you. You're basically the front. We will give you all of the necessary tools, all of the things that the talents would be needing, all of the things that they would want to have when it comes to achieving their dreams. So they would be pointing themselves on the direction that they want to take, since they would want to have like a direction. They want to have their own branding, their own identity, their own dream on that side. They would want to create their own style of content. We don't want to dictate those things, since these people have a lot of different creative minds that only these people can do so on that part. And at the same time, they would only be needing support. They would only be needing guidance on that part. That is what the Royale family would always be providing them. They would be provided with support, they would be provided with happiness, and they would be provided with a daily dream that they would be able to live with. And when it comes to like that training program regime wherein the agency would grow the talent from the ground up, I do believe with esports and gaming entertainment industry has come to arise that it's not the main factor anymore. There's a lot of different celebrities that is wanting to transition to the gaming industry. There's a lot of different music artists that wants to transition inside the gaming industry. We have a lot of different celebrity talents, different music talents that has already been integrated towards the gaming industry. So it's not just about building a person from the ground up. You could provide enough value wherein people from the mainstream industry would transition inside gaming because it's their main passion. It's their main, it's something that they enjoy doing every single day. So having that type of concept in mind, it's not anymore just building a person from the ground up. It's basically the different services and different approaches, different environment. That's the most important, different environment and culture that you're providing these talents, so that they would want to be part of you, they would want to be part of the company, they would want to be part of your family, and it would be basically something that they would enjoy and something that would keep their loyalty at hand. Because one thing that people will always be loyal to is to their friends and to their families. Yeah.
Great. So treat your streamers as your family, right? Okay, so why for the closing statement, maybe you want to add something as well, knowing that Ag Network is also have lots of talents as well.
I think a direct answer to that will be an exclusive contract. Tie them down with an exclusive contract, but then again, you do not want unhappy streamers under you. So I would say a lot of time streamers or talent leave is when they feel that they're stagnant. They outgrew the agency. So I would say grow with the talent, because different talent, when they reach certain stage in your career, they will need different things, right? From your beginner to when you're a top streamer, you need different exposure, different kind of marketing. So I would say very good points by both. Just now, like personal, it's a human business, right? Talk to them, know what they want, and grow with the talent.
Okay, grow with the talent. It is very important. So don't let the talents outgrow the agency. Okay, that's a very, very good closing statement from Y. So it's already at the end of the session, and I would love to say thank you so much for all the speakers who's taking the time, especially on the weekend, to share the knowledge for esports, for Y, of course, Hartman, and also Phillips.
Thank you so much, Joe.
On behalf of Unipin community, I would like to say thank you so much. Also for the audiences who's listening to this insight, thank you so much as well. So don't forget to stay healthy and also stay safe, and take care. Goodbye, and see you on another session. Bye.
Thank you. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Take
Thank you very
care.
much. Reign supreme, yo.
Bye.
Bye. Stay safe.
Thank you.
For saying the insight and experience in this today webinar. So that was the end of the today webinar series of SEACA, and we would like to thank for all our stakeholders in this webinar for supporting this event. As for thank you for Unipin, OVO, and Grab as our main sponsor for Unipin SEACA 2021, and also for SEACA. And OVO and Grab also have their lives. SEACA 2001 ini disponsori oleh OVO Grab Indonesia. Jadi jangan lupa nantinya kalian selesai acara SEACA ini, kita banyak juga event-event lain seperti ada Unipin Lady Series Invitation dan juga Unipin SEACA Major 2001. Tentunya juga ada yang namanya Unipin SEACA Virtual Expo. So jangan lupa untuk kunjungi virtual booth dari OVO dan Grab, karena banyak banget promo-promo yang bisa kalian dapatkan di situ. Dimana nantinya banyak promo seperti diskon 75% ketika pesan GrabFood, diskon 50% ketika top up game memakai OVO di website Unipin, dan juga ada booth-booth lain yang spesial banget buat kalian. Salah satunya dari Advan dan juga Rexus. Dimana ketika Advan, kalian jangan lupa untuk datang ke website Advan, dan juga kalian akan makin GG ketika menggunakan game bermain dengan produk Advan. Serta juga ada Rexus juga buat kalian nih yang jiwanya masih muda banget, karena produk Rexus itu bersifat stylish, modern, dan juga inovatif. So jangan lupa kunjungi booth Advan dan juga Rexus di SEACA Virtual Expo 2021 karena banyak banget hadiahnya. Langsung klik linknya, klaim vouchernya, dan selamat check out. Rexus made for everyone, dan juga gaming makin GG dengan produk Advan. Tentunya juga aku mengucapkan terima kasih kepada teman-teman lain, and also thank you for our panelists supported by Unipin Community, One Esport, Bubu.com, Esport, M-Star, NRK Academy, PBSC, TIC, Galaxy Racer, Morph Team, EGG Network, Rumble Royale, and also our media partner, Suara.com, Mediani, GameTech, When in Manila, GGWP, Kauri Nusantara, Dunia Games, Game Zero, M-Star, Indo Esport, Indo Gamers, Esports Asia, Upstation, Esport ID, Kincir, Revival TV, Game Buff, Pinoy Gamer, Journal Apps, One Esport, and thank you for all of you who is still watching this webinar series from day 1 until this day 3. So don't forget to watch our next event, European Ladies Series SEACA Invitational, and also SEACA Major 2021. So I'm QSC, see you again at the next event. Bye bye.
First game ready.
Belum 6 giga, minggir. Smartphone RAM 6 giga, Advan G9 Pro aja. RAM 6 giga buat ngegame, Advan G9 Pro aja. RAM 6 giga buat bikin konten, Advan G9 Pro aja. RAM 6 giga buat ini itu, Advan G9 Pro aja. Advan G9 Pro, RAM-nya 6 giga, ada 4 kamera, layar gede, dan baterai besar. Advan G9 Pro aja. Advan G9 Pro, 6 GB RAM for gaming. Advan G9 Pro aja.
Another Laguna Blade has that arcane root. See you later, VP faded gyro.
Di kawasan hadapan, kawasan samudra telah diganggu oleh pasukan yang lain. Kita berada dalam kesulitan ini.
Jangan ngaku suka e-sport kalau belum bergabung di Unipin Community. Di dalam Unipin Community, kita mengadakan banyak webinar dan workshop berkaitan dengan e-sport yang diisi oleh speaker yang kalian suka dan pastinya bukan kaleng-kaleng. Dijamin ilmu kalian bertambah dan berguna di ranah e-sport. Bahkan, kalau kalian juga berjiwa kompetitif, kita juga mengadakan berbagai macam turnamen yang seru dan so pasti fun. Kalian juga bisa kasih kita saran tentang turnamen apa aja yang kalian ingin kita adain. Yang satu ini cocok banget buat kalian para mahasiswa yang ingin menekuni karir di bidang e-sport. Karena Unipin Community mensupport penuh para mahasiswa di Indonesia dengan membuat USW. Sudah banyak dari berbagai universitas yang telah menjadi bagian USW dari United ini loh. Bakal banyak fun event USW yang bakal menanti kalian pastinya. Jadi tunggu apa lagi? Come and join us di Unipin Community.